The Hawks trail. Now, Alexander Walker. Pass to Newell. And there's the slam dunk to finish it off.
Yeah, just solid work on the back end of that play.
Yep, you're right. Finished hard with two hands on that stuff. And the officials will call the illegal screen right there.
Beyond the leaning, you could see his feet more set on that screen. Easy call.
Look, you can get away with a lot in terms of screens today. You can't make it that obvious.
Here's the Jazz with the ball. And now let's send it over to our courtside reporter, Allie LaForce.
Well, Lauri Markkanen is a 7-footer with touch, but he can also attack off the dribble. Referencing comparisons to Dirk Nowitzki, he said, quote, when someone hits a fadeaway jumper, they say, that's the Dirk. Maybe someday I'll get the drag step to be called the Lauri. Kevin, back to you.
Ooh, that's a sweet move, too. All right, Allie, thank you for the report.
Yeah, just a simple one-hand flush.
I think he got a few more inches on his vertical by going with the spike. And so the timeout by Will Hardy here. Coach needs a moment to talk things over. And maybe more than any team in the West, GA, the Jazz, really committing to the rebuild.
Well, in the West, it seems like you got 13 or 14 teams all trying to win now, and it just doesn't work that way. So it's not just about talent. It's also about timing.
Off target from outside. Pass to Collier. Here's Filipowski. The Jazz again can't hit it. Daniels into the lane. And it goes down 2 points.
Just no resistance on the inside. That's their 5th consecutive make in the paint.
.107 left to play in the first quarter. Here's Collier driving the lane and a missed layup.
I mean, come on, that's a shot you expect him to make.
Offensive rebound.
I can't believe he missed that three. Regardless, that's not a shot the defense should be given.
And the foul on Dyson Daniels. That is his first foul of the game.
Second team foul. Now into the lineup.
There's 37 seconds left to play here in the first. 6 to shoot. Unloads. Newell pulls it in. Here's Alexander Walker. No good from outside.
Yeah, not at his most efficient this quarter. He's got to work on finding high percentage shots.
Over to the wing. Three-pointer. Rebound by the Hawks. And Young, here we go. And still a close game as the first quarter comes to a close. Hawks lead.
14.
And it's been a pretty even game here after one quarter of play. And looking at what we've seen from the Hawks, what do you guys think?
Way to set the table. Offensively, they dominated on the interior.
Well, if they're going to be that ferocious inside, this defense is in for a long night.
Never a bad idea to run the old pick play.
You're right. And if it produces a slam like that, we'll probably see more of them.
Yeah, defensive breakdown there. Gotta communicate and switch that screen.
Here's Bailey. And that won't go, missing the go-ahead bucket. There's always a need for shot makers in the NBA, GA, and that's what Ace Bailey brings to the floor.
Yeah, Bailey has a smooth jumper with a high release point that allows him to shoot over just about any defender. And when you pair that with his physical tools, his upside is through the roof.
Pass to George. Now Bailey. A rebound by Young. Here's Newell. Kicks it out to Johnson. Here's Newell. Young outside. teardrop shot. His second shot goes in, off to a good start, 2 for 2.
Look at that touch. Not many do it better than Young.
George looking around. The shake. 2 free throws coming up, and they call the shooting foul. It's on Porzingis. And coach, for teams defending the pick and roll, you often hear coaches talking about being at the level. Well, what does that mean?
Well, Kevin, what it means is the guy guarding the screener, the defender guarding the screener, has to be all the way up with that guy at the point of the screen, as opposed to being in drop coverage where the guy defending the screener will lay back.
Nice pass by the rookie Bailey. They love seeing Ace set up others.
And it's going to be out of bounds. The Hawks will retain possession.
Number 10.
Johnson outside. And there's the drive. And he can't jam it through. And stolen by Okongwu. And Okongwu slams it in.
Love to see this kind of aggression from Okongwu. Great job playing with force inside.
Poke loose. The Hawks leading by 5. Back to Johnson. Launches a 3. The shot's good on the assist by Daniels. Johnson's got 9.
Well, he's such a natural talent. Has all the skill needed to produce at a high level.
And so the timeout by Will Hardy here. He's going to make some adjustments to the game plan. Jazz trailed by 8. Stan, March 2025 marked the passing of the great Dikembe Mutombo. 4 of his 8 All-Star appearances came as an Atlanta Hawk.
And he also won back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year awards in Atlanta. 4 in total over the course of his career. A tremendous player, but even more importantly, a humanitarian and a statesman for the game.
Markkanen looking it over. And Markkanen throws it down.
It is really hard to defend Markkanen at 7 feet. The blend of size and skill is incredible.
And this is his first trip to the line tonight. Coach, you and I were just talking about this the other day. We don't see many Finnish players in the NBA. I know Lowry is proud of that.
Well, he should be, Kevin, because he's not only a great player, but he's probably a role model for everybody in Finland, and proving that you can come from anywhere now in the NBA and make yourself into a great player if you have both the skill and the desire to do so. Yeah, look, you know Markkanen has this kind of range. That defense has got to get out on him.
And now let's swing it over to Allie LaForce on the sideline.
Thanks, guys. The Hawks are trying to involve everyone to take some of the load off Trae Young. Coach Quinn Snyder said, "We've been intentional about that. Trae can't do this by himself, and he knows that. Frankly, no player can. Figuring out the ways he can be efficient has been the idea, and he's been making those plays." Back to you, Kevin.
Okay, Allie, thanks.
Daniels using that vision.
Misses the layup.
Well, give credit to the defense for cutting him off. Normally, that'd be easy points for him at the rim.
Pass to Markkanen. And here's George. Back to Markkanen. Beyond the arc. That ball's nice speed that time from George. Markkanen's got 12. Inside. Here's Okongwu. Kessler with the rebound. Ball's knocked loose. Porzingis with the steal. Daniels with it. George picks him up. Hendricks pulls it in. Utah trailing here. 27 seconds left now here in the second. Back to Kessler. 5 on the clock. Pass to George. George double team. And hit the turnaround jumper. And Quinn Snyder wants a timeout. He's going to take a few moments here to check in with his team and regroup. So both teams making some changes here. There's 10 seconds left to play in the first half. Here's Young. 3 seconds left. And that one is hammered home.
And some hang time on the rim. Puts a little cherry on the top of that slam.
Well, those kind of displays of strength can get one team rolling. Second half of basketball upon us. We may be in for an exciting finish based on how close of a game it's been so far. Here's George driving to the basket. And there's the bucket for Markkanen.
Yeah, those are starting to add up, guys. Of their last 5 baskets, 3 have been triple.
Pass to Kennard. That's in, coming off the assist from Johnson.
3 points.
Kennard's got his first 3 points of the game.
Well, Kennard wasted no time firing back. That's the work of an elite three-point shooter.
Johnson outside. Now, Alexander Walker. And it is flushed down with a nice jam.
Not the kind of aggressive defense they need to cut into the lead.
Yeah, you have to protect the rim, Greg, a little better.
Yeah, I'd consider calling timeout right away after that one. The defense has to be better there.
Nice ball movement by Utah. Clock at 4. And Kessler throws it down.
Well, what I love about Walker Kessler, he's a 7-footer who plays like a 7-footer.
And Stan, Utah has been all about basketball up until last year. The Jazz, the only major professional sporting franchise in the state.
Yeah, now they've got hockey, but from the venerated days of Stockton and Malone in the 80s, basketball has become effectively the state sport of Utah.
Pass to Filipowski. Nasty move. And he dunks it down.
Big hops from the backcourt.
Oh, absolutely. And maybe just what they need to get this game, GA, going in their direction.
Yeah, what a huge dunk. Making a statement right there.
And Quinn Snyder wants a timeout. This now will give him a chance to discuss some potential changes. Both teams deciding to change it up. The Hawks leading. Young looking it over. Johnson the screen. And the slam dunk by Johnson.
A wiry athlete, Jalen Johnson. 2 loud points.
Pass to Filipowski. Screen by Nurkic. And there's the call on Nickeil Alexander-Walker. That is his first foul of the game.
First team foul.
Just under 2.5 minutes into the third quarter now. Here's Collier. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Here's Filipowski.
And those plays can make a difference in a game like this.
Well, you know it's going to fire up, Greg, everybody on that bench.
And guys, you cannot allow that in a close game. You have to make it harder than that.
And the Hawks making a change here.
And look, with Jalen Johnson, the talent's always been there. The versatility. But what he's really worked on is the consistency with his shooting and taking care of the ball.
Out left to the wing. Pass to Collier. And now here's Johnson, a fast break chance. And the shot goes down. Alexander Walker's got 4 points this quarter.
And that's the kind of play you just do not want to give up defensively. You lose the possession and give up a quick 2 at the other end. And that's a little lack of fight at the defensive end.
Absolutely. At least on that slam, you're right. That's one way to let a team back in the game.
Yeah, but also credit the offense there. That's making a play when you really need it, and they need more of those.
Here's Johnson. Utah with the rebound. They'll be playing host to Chicago for their next game. And that game closes out the 4-game homestand for them. Here's Sensabaugh. Still without a basket.
Oh, an aggressive move and fantastic finish.
Trying to send a message with that slam, I think. Pass to Alexander Walker. Knocks down the 3-ball. And the Hawks lead by 6.
He's been reliable from the floor, and that's reflected on the scoreboard.
Here's Collier. Here's Sensabaugh. Defended by Young. 2 on the clock. That's good by Sensabaugh. Sensabaugh's got 4 points in the quarter.
That's the 10th straight point they've given up in the paint.
Basket good.
Look, that is a skillful shot by Young. The floater is rarely the easiest option.
And so the timeout by Will Hardy here. Looking for a breather and maybe adjusting a thing or two. .115 left to play in the third. And Stan, you think about the skill level of Trae Young. What makes him, in your opinion, such a tough cover?
I think the best thing about Trae Young, Kevin, is as much of a scorer he is, he's even better as a passer. And so it's hard to commit a second defender to Trae Young all the time because he will find the open people and create great shots for his team.
Pass to Sensabaugh. Just 5 to shoot. Nurkic trying to get open.
Really the right play defensively. If you can't block, force them to the line.
The Jazz shooting their 5th and 6th free throws of the game.
Yeah, and fairly decent a season ago, about 77% from the line.
We expect nothing less. He's generally been very good at the line.
To the wing right side. Pass to Rizachet. Back to Young. Releases. Off the left rim and out.
That was a good look from the mid-range. He'd like to have that one back.
The points coming in bunches as we wrap up the third quarter. It's been a good one.
54.
Well, what a terrific game it's been so far with this fourth quarter. Sure to bring more pressure-packed basketball. Here's Young. There's the drive. Johnson, wide open, he fires. Off target with his 3.
Well, so far in the second half, he hasn't been able to get another 3 to fall.
Finished off by Bailey.
Not the showmanship there by Bailey.
Rizachet wide open. That's in coming off an assist from Johnson. And the Hawks lead by 5. shot by George, wide open. And they wasted no time getting those 3 points back.
And developing that three-ball shot, George is putting in the work now.
Back to Young. Kicks it out to Johnson. Fires top of the key. A rebound by the Jazz. Outside George. Bailey with the ball. Pass to Hendricks. 6 on the shot clock. Here's Markkanen. And they're unable to get the tying basket there. Here's Newell. Takes it up with both hands and rips it down.
Playing with high energy, outworking the defense up the floor.
Yeah, the commitment to run is paying great dividends on the break.
And Will Hardy calls timeout here. He's not taking any chances. He wants to huddle him up right away. It's time to send it over now to our reporter, Allie Laporte.
Over that last break, I got a chance to hear what Will Hardy said to the team. He likes the way they're finishing inside. Coach said when we get close, we are golden. They can't stop us in there. Let's keep pounding it as long as we can.
Great work as always, Allie. Thank you.
Aggressive slash from the young guard. George fears no one when attacking the basket.
And guys, let's get your take on the scoring breakdown for Atlanta.
Well, they've clearly been focused on getting the ball inside. And up to this point, the defense has not had an answer.
And another stat that they've excelled at is points off assists. They're moving the ball around and creating great looks for one another.
Newell can't get it to go.
Definitely a situation you want to make sure you don't give him too good of a look.
Pass to Kessler. Jazz passing it around. And stolen by Okongwu. In the corner, Daniels. Here's Alexander Walker. Here's Newell. And he jams it with authority.
And he shows us all what the breakaway rim was invented for.
He almost brought the whole thing down by hanging on that long.
And over time, Markkanen has embraced more of a leadership role, which includes taking and making crucial shots.
Here's Newell. Takes it inside.
And coming down the stretch here, both teams still on fire.
Yeah, in hopes that your opponent is just going to go cold. That's not going to happen, it doesn't look like in this one. This might go down to whoever has the last possession.
Now Markkanen. Outside George. Shot clock at 5. To take the lead. And it doesn't go. The Hawks leading. Beyond the arc. And down goes the three.
And those are the types of shots down the stretch that win you ball games.
And he commits the intentional foul.
Really no idea why you're fouling in a situation like that. You know, maybe there's some bad blood between those two.
And Will Hardy calls timeout here. Clearly, he's got something his players need to hear. And immediately. Here's George. Markkanen outside. Knocks down the three.
Well, they needed someone to step up there, and it's Markkanen who answers the call.
Johnson. Oh, no good on the dunk. Here's Hendricks. Here's George. Picked by Markkanen. George with the ball. And it's Johnson picking him up. And there's the shot clock violation. Couldn't get the shot off in time. A 2-point game. Oh, what a play inside.
Well, it's easy to see Johnson oozing with confidence once he has the rock. Wants the ball in big spots.
Got it.
That is world class.
Yeah, and I can say from experience, his coach just breathed a huge sigh of relief.
Driving in. And does not get the jam. Wow. Outside George. Here's Markkanen. And they double up Markkanen. And wrestling for it there, but no one has possession. We'll have a jump ball. Pocket 6. Outside George. To tie it up. Johnson rips down the board. And they commit an intentional foul. You see another one of those so they can get into the penalty.
Yeah, you have to do that, though. You can't just let him dribble the game out.
And that's an intentional foul.
Third personal foul. Third team foul. Shooting front leg.
Good on the first, and that makes it a 3-point lead. And he is unable to get the second one.
Looking to tie it up with a big triple.
Absolutely needed 3 here.
And they go to the intentional foul.
Yeah, not sure what that was about. I mean, talk about a brain cramp.
So the first one drops, and that brings them within 2 here. Both shots good from the stripe.
And you really can't say enough about his composure in the big moments, as cool as they come.
And an intentional foul there stops the clock. And that hurts as he doesn't get the first one to fall. Trying to focus now on the second. So he comes up empty at the line. And Will Hardy calls timeout here. And he knows there's no room for mistakes and wants everyone on the same page. Guys, what are their best options now?
And guys, it all comes down to this. One shot to win the game. They have just enough time to run a play that'll lead to a catch and shoot here on the inbound. Maybe one quick pass and then get it up.
They could win it. And so it's the Hawks who come out on top.
Last kick, they was so fast.